Hello guys, it's Marek here and welcome to another episode of PhotoshopLightroomTV, your weekly video podcast about anything Photoshop, Lightroom and photography as well. Here's what I've got for you this week. We're back in Photoshop and I'm going to cover the Smart Sharpen filter in Photoshop. Now Smart Sharpen has been around for quite some time, however we have some great new features in Smart Sharpen in the latest edition of Photoshop CC, and that's what I'm going to show to you in here. Some really great improvements, and it is so much better than it used to be. So I've got this image open here. This is an import straight from my camera. The image was shot raw, but I haven't adjusted it. I haven't done anything with the sharpness, so it's just a JPEG. Well, it's actually the raw image opened in Photoshop. If you look on the tab in here, you can see it's got a CRW file extension, the raw format, the old raw format for Canon cameras. So I'm going to navigate to select the filter, Sharpen, and Smart Sharpen. Okay. Now we've got a slightly different dialog box in here. I'm just going to reposition the image to see it better here. Maybe the top. Number of options, but first things first. Here's something really nice. Now in Photoshop CC you can actually resize window for Smart Sharpen. This is so much better because you can make it much bigger. Okay. In this case I'm going to make it taller because I've got lots of sky in here, so that's fine. So this is one really nice big improvement, because there are so many filters we use on a daily basis where we cannot resize the windows, and this has been the case with sharpening filters for many years as well. Now you may notice a number of different sliders on the right hand side. There's loads of them in here. I'm going to start from top, obviously. Make sure the preview checkbox is ticked, so you see the preview of the image. Well, the preview of the changes actually. First we got a amount. So the amount, obviously the higher the value, the more sharpening is being applied to the image. So for example, if I take it all the way a lot, you can see it is much sharper, but it's also becoming kind of grainy. So I'm going to lower the amount to around 100%. That's what we typically use, around 100%. So we're applying double amount of sharpening. For the radius, we'll leave it on 1 pixel. So it's going to sharpen just the edges within the image. Perfect. Now reduce noise. We can reduce some noise in the image as well. So for example, if I leave it on the minimum, which is 0, then I'll take it not all the way, but a lot up in here. Notice what happens, especially in these wide areas of the image. It gets much smoother. It's removing the noise from the image. Actually looks really good. Now the value is a bit too high because we're losing a bit of a sharpness, but it's making a really good job removing noise. Okay. Open here. That's the original. That's the new one here. Okay. Not sure if you guys are saying it on the video, but it's looking much better now. I'm just going to lower it to reduce noise a bit so it doesn't go too high. Okay, now this we had in previous version of Photoshop as well. We got the shadows and highlights, so you can adjust shadows and highlights separately. I'm going to focus on the shadows in here, because if I just move a bit here to this shadow area, especially in here, again I'm not sure if you're going to see that on the video, but it makes some subtle changes, a bit of a changes. So I'm going to keep tonal width on 50% for now. With the fade amount, if I increase that, again I'm going to take it all the way to the top, to the maximum. Okay, and I'm not sure if you see the difference here in the shadow area. I'm also going to increase the radius all the way again. Okay. It gets smoother, and I'm going to fade out a bit less. But basically, as I'm increasing the radius, these shadows here are getting a bit smoother. There's a bit less noise in here, in this shadow area in here. And these are the things you can do with Smart Sharpen now in Photoshop CC on Creative Cloud. Now there's one more option here in Smart Sharpen. If I just move it back here, so you can see this part of the image clearly. We've got this gear icon here in the top right corner, and with the gear icon there's an interesting option here called Use Legacy. What Use Legacy does is it shows you how Smart Sharpen would sharpen the image in Photoshop CS6 and Photoshop CS5 in earlier versions of Photoshop. So you can see the difference. So if you check Use Legacy, you can actually see how much worse it gets. Okay, you can see how much better Smart Sharpen is in Photoshop CC. Again, I think you should be able to see that on the video because the difference is really big. Like if you look around this image here, there's more noise, basically because reduced noise was not there. It's grayed out, so you can really see a difference. The image looks so much better. Okay, and that's how you can use Smart Sharpen in Photoshop CC. Just one more thing to remind you. I'm just going to click OK in here. I know I've sharpened the image already, but just one more thing to remind you. As you know, this is not a new feature, but as you know, with the Smart Sharpen, or with all the other filters, you can also apply them as smart filters. So for example, if you go to the filter menu and just convert for smart filters, the image will be converted to a smart object. So just click OK. And then when you go to filter, sharpen, Smart Sharpen, for example, let's say I would sharpen it again. I'm just going to click OK here, accept the defaults. And now the filter will become a smart filter. What it means is you can re-edit the filter at any time, and Photoshop remembers everything you've done, and all the changes you've applied are not destructive, because smart filters are not destructive. It's just applying the smart filter. I'm just going to wait for a second. Here you go, and we got in here Smart Sharpen, smart filters, so you can easily reapply it, or you can change it. If you double click on it, it reopens the dialog box, it remembers your settings, so you can ready the filter. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. I'm Marek Mularczyk from MarekMularczyk.com. For all my Adobe Certified courses in Photoshop and Lightroom and others, have a look on my website at MarekMularczyk.com or check my page on Adobe.com. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week on the next episode of Photoshop Lightroom TV. Thank you. Bye bye.